Here's what Revell thought this hurricane would look like when it was built. And the hilarious thing about this is that they have three Battle of Britain fighters, and we've got a 109 that's painted up, representing an aircraft from the invasion of Poland. And then we've got two RAF aircraft that are painted in desert colors. Now, my eyes couldn't see this as desert colors most of my life because of some strange spell that Revell put over me. For example, I thought this was an accurate hurricane, and I thought that was an accurate Battle of Britain paint job. I have no explanation for any of this. I also have no explanation for the fact that I just love this kit, or these three kits in this box. I love it. Just something about those paintings, those Jack Lenwood paintings. Man. Cool. Goofy, but cool. Okay, here's the old hurricane from 1963, Revell Hurricane. And it's been assembled, and I had to try to do something about the wing roots and so on. And I put a coat of poly scale, medium sea gray. There's just something special about that polyscale paint, and I'm not gonna stop using it. I have a sizable amount of it, and I'm gonna use it, and that's that. So there. Let's get back to this, though. Let's take a look at this more closely. There are a few little items, perhaps you can see them, the rivets. Can you see those rivets on there? Let's get a close-up on here. Some of you will be like, yeah, I can't see them. Lots of rivets. We're going to have to sand those off a little bit. Maybe not too much, but just take the tops off so we don't lose an eye. But how shall we do this? He said. Well, you could get out a piece of sandpaper and just do this for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying. Now, unless you really do enjoy that kind of thing, which I can't say I don't. But if you need to do that very often, you're going to have some pain and suffering. Personally, I absolutely can't stand it. I can't stand this kind of sanding. This doesn't remind me of my kid days when I was building models out of wood, because I never built them out of wood. And the idea of getting a plastic kit, slathering it with putty, and then carving it to shape strikes me as something that I don't know, Norman Bates might do. Ed Gein kind of behavior. So here's my solution to the problem. I needed a power sander that would work on plastic model kits. Now, lots of people truly do enjoy using the Dremel. I have one around here somewhere. I don't know where it went. The Dremel is something that gives them little tingly feelings. I've never been in love with the Dremel. The Dremel to me is just way more power than you need for a plastic kit. This is plastic. It's not stone, it's not wood, it's not metal, it's plastic. A Dremel is just a hell of a lot too much horsepower for something like that. Then one day, I saw a TV commercial for a weird thing called the Sonic Scrubber. And I bought one. At that time, at the Mall of America, they had a store called As Seen on TV. It's gone, along with every other damn store that I ever wanted to go to at that mall. Since I am not into Legos, there's nothing there for me to see. But yeah, I went to the As Seen on TV store and I bought a sonic scrubber. The rest is history. I just cannot tell you what a great gadget this is. Now, I used the old sonic scrubber that I had so much that I wore it out. I actually wore the button off of this. So you can tell there's a lot of scrubbing going on. Now, I'm not going to say the sonic scrubber isn't a good tool for cleaning. We use a sonic scrubber. We have a couple of them. We use one to clean the... we have an extraction juicer. And if you don't know what that is... Yeah, we live in the Google age, bro. You know, wake up and smell the beverages. This can clean. Fine. It's fine for cleaning. Works real well on that juicer parts. However, up here at the business end, the sonic scrubber gadget that goes on here is for cleaning is a brush. This, as you may be able to tell, is a piece of sandpaper on one of those round little dots of velcro. What I'm getting at here is I'm going to send you to a link, Amazon link, to buy a sonic scrubber handle. Okay? I'm going to send you to buy this handle. Okay? And when you get there, you're going to notice that this part is not there. It's not included. You have to buy this separately. I'm going to put a link in the description to another location. Come on. Another location. I'm cussing my phone camera. That poor phone was never designed for these. It's thinking about going home, you know what I mean? Anyway, the abuse. I love my little camera. I love my little camera phone, and it's doing a wonderful job. All right, fine. Sonic scrubber with this Velcro hook. Head. You might be able to figure out a way to modify something or something, but I look, just buy this thing. And I'm going to send you to a location on eBay where you can get these. But you have to buy them separately, which is really a drag. They used to all come in a one kit, but not anymore. Anyway, this was originally designed not for sandpaper. Okay, that's my modification to this system. This was originally designed for a little, I don't have one handy, it doesn't matter. Kind of a scrubby thing that goes on there. It's just, yeah, we don't need it and I don't want it. What we're talking about today is sandpaper. Okay, so you make this thing, and I'll show you very shortly how to make this, one of these. It's easy. It's dead easy. This is yet another one of those many and varied items that I've talked about in forums and so on, and no traction. Nobody wants to try it. Fine. The appeal of the Dremel is lost on me. The Dremel to me is kind of a waste of time. All I want this machine to do is sand plastic. That's all I want it to do. And this does that very, very well indeed. Okay, let's take a look at how this thing works so we can understand it. By the way, it runs off of a couple of batteries. Okay. By the way, there is a nice little O-ring seal here that keeps everything waterproof. This thing was designed to work in water. Okay? You can submerge it. You can immerse it. Whatever you want to call it. Immerse, submerge, whatever the kids are saying these days. I don't know. They change everything. I went into a place the other day and I looked right in the eye of this young lady and I said, "Where's your instant teller?" And she looked at me like I'd asked her for a flamadoodle. And then I thought for a second. I said, "A cash machine." Then she looked startled. I think she was getting ready to hit the panic button. And I thought, I was in a hurry. I thought, oh my God, what do they call them? ATM. Oh. Old man wanted an ATM and forgot what they were called. So she sent me over to the ATM. All right, let's take a look at how this works. Wow, that's impressive, isn't it? There. It oscillates. It oscillates. It makes a noise some people can't stand, but hell, I'm autistic and I think it's a cool sound. I like it. You know what I don't like the sound of? Music. Yeah, baby. Now, when you put this on there, the little sandpaper, it does that. And then when you want to sand something, let's get some water. Put some water in there. Wet sanding is something that I didn't understand until rather late in life. Like a lot of other things, it cost me money. Wet sanding is very important to keep the sandpaper clean. Now, this sandpaper has definitely seen better times, and it's been through the ringer. And you know what? Your sandpaper needs to be changed regularly. We're going to make a new sanding pad. But just to show you how this works here with our water, we're going to do this, okay? I'm going to put it in the water, take our model, and start sanding a little bit. You've got to give it a little pressure. Got to push down a little bit. The beauty of this is that it doesn't happen all at once. This isn't Ford Tough. This doesn't happen in an instant. It's a gradual process. If you push down on it, though, you can feel something's happening. Don't get the idea that it's not sanding, because it is. We just did a little bit on that wing there. And took off some of the paint. It's kind of a slurry of paint. Damp tissue will remove a lot of the dust. Okay. I can feel the rivets over here, not so much over here. The concept is to end up with a surface that's, I'm sure that you science majors out there will be able to explain why you can still see these rivets, even though they're much less prominent. Yeah, it has to do with reflectivity in paint. And science. Do your science thing. Okay, what we're going to do is remove this piece of sandpaper. We're going to make a new one. Now again, I'm going to put links in the description for y'all. But I do believe that these are ones. I like saying ones. These are ones that I got at Axeman. kind of a local surplus store. Which reminds me, I got to go check out that U of M surplus place. Anyway, these babies have adhesive already on them. They are ready to go. Okay? What's going on the adhesive side? Quick like a bunny. A piece of sandpaper, my friend. This is 240 softback W2 type made by people. Yeah, somewhere. I think this is made in USA right there. Yeah. All right. Here's what we do. We take this off here. Bam, took it off. And we put it on here. Right? It's stuck on there good. It's not coming off. Then we take our little friend, Mr. Scissors. Not good scissors. You're going to ruin them. Cutting sandpaper. All right. There we are. Ta-da! A brand new piece of sandpaper for wet sanding using the sonic scrubber. Here it is right there, right like that. Put that on there. Press it on. Okay. Going back to this guy. A little more water on there. Because the water keeps the dust from building up. It's important along the leading edges. I know this is an old kit. It's what we would call a demonstrator. Yeah. So whenever you see those news stories and they say that the streets were full of demonstrators, now you know what that means. If you give it some pressure, you will definitely feel like something is happening. You got to go along the leading edge here of the wing because there's a seam there. But unlike a lot of sanders and gizmos and Dremels, there's no way you can cut off so much of that. You're never going to be able to actually damage the model unless you are just, I don't know, unless you had way too much coffee and you're just grinding away here for an hour. You're just not going to be able to really damage the model. It happens too slowly. But it doesn't happen so slowly that it will drive you crazy unless you've had way too much coffee washing down those Adderalls. If that's what you've been up to, then you shouldn't be touching a model. You shouldn't be touching anything, actually. Yeah, you should be sitting, you should be going for a long run. Way long, way long, way on out of town. Let's keep walking. Okay, got some more water on here. These I love using this thing, so I could just waste hundreds of hours of time just doing that. But what's going to happen here is that I'm going to take off the majority of these rivets are going to go bye-bye, and we're just going to see like the tiniest remnant of them. Already you can see some major changes have taken place in this wing here. Okay. Now, we live in an age where everything has to be bigger, faster, boom, 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 everything happening at the speed of light, okay? I didn't do that. I know I'm a boomer, but I didn't change the world so that it turned into a complete hellhole. That wasn't me. But whatever happened is that everything you buy, everything you get, is going to be designed to happen, so fast that it took place yesterday. This is a tool, if you want to get serious, it does a wonderful job. These are not that expensive. I admit, when I was working with that scale in the other video I did recently, I was working with a scale. $50 for a little scale, yeah, okay. I admit that's a lot of money. But this thing is relatively cheap. You can go to Amazon and check it out. Please do. The whole thing is not going to set you back that much. And you're going to have a truly bodacious sanding gadget. Just before I say bye, I want to show you something about this. That the edge has a lot of flexibility to it. And you can even put this at a off center. And this would give you the ability to get in there and go after those wing roots and so on. Okay? With the edge. With this edge here. You can do that. All you need to do is get a regular sheet of sandpaper, sonic scrubber, the scrubbie attachment, which is what I'm calling this thing. Get some of these. Again, I'll put a link. Do what I did. You got a sander that just won't quit. I have gotten some feedback on this, and people basically just aren't sure what it just doesn't look like it would work. Okay. I'm telling you it does. All right. Go to someone you know and intimidate them in some way and force them to watch my channel. Was that wrong? Should I not have said that? Does AI understand what the word intimidate means? All right. Yeah.